So you talked about raising the standard, right? When it comes to FanDuel, well, they're also raising the standard in Flowery Branch with the rookies returning, reporting for training camp on Monday with QB1 in place. So no QB battle this go round. Desmond Ridder knows for sure that he is QB1. And Jarvis, he talked about how that hits different.
Yeah, for me, it's just I know what the season's going to be like. I know what it's going to hold, how long it is. And then obviously, you talk about the offense. I have, a whole year of offense under my belt. And so, I'm excited to get back in the building with the guys, and get going and just, try to reach our ultimate goal.
How important is that, not just that it hits different for him, Jarvis, but as we await the arrival of the veterans, how important is it for this entire team and how it hits different for them to have him already in place?
I think for him, they have the correct mindset, right? That because we talk about how like what it is the team needs from him. Like they need him to be the leader. They need him to be able to command the room when he walks in the room. And just talking to different guys when we're out there for spring training, not spring training for mini camps. There was some conversations. There was some consistency with all the guys were saying, right? Like Desmond Ridder got a really good handle on things. He knows how to, he's confident coming into the huddle. He understands what his role is because we even, we talked about this ad nauseum last year about how his verbiage was, "Hey, I'm competing for the starter," and then next thing you know, it just got crickets on that particular piece. So because we understand, he had to understand what his role is. Now that he understands that, hey, I'm the starter, I have to be able to establish relationships with all my guys and on the offensive side of the football, and I have to be able to build some rapport with the guys on defense as well, so they can see that where I am as far as from a confidence standpoint. Because at the end of the day, all three phases have to be on the same page, and somebody has to get them there. Arthur Smith is responsible for it initially, right, during the week. But when they're out there on the field, 9 is going to have to be the guy that's going to be able to take command of everything. And if things go awry, he has to be able to step in. If the defense gives up 7 touchdowns, hey, he got to figure out a way to score 8. Or if he throws 2 picks, the defense has to be able to pick him up as well. So it's all about him establishing himself, getting that confidence, saying, you know what, I'm the guy now. I don't have to worry about anybody peeking over my shoulder. And I need to go out here and perform. And that's exactly, and prove a lot of people wrong, because obviously there are a lot of people who feels like Desmond Ridder isn't going to get the job done. So, but I think that right now with Arthur Smith's scheme and the weapons that he has, I really feel like this is why this is going to hit different for him this year.
Yeah, I am Ridder and I'm taking the reins. That's what I keep hearing in my head, right?
Yes.
And I think you make a great point about the fact that, yes, we know that the offense is behind him. We know the work, the rapport, the chemistry that he's developed with Drake London and even with his running back core, right? And
Right.
we'll talk about another guy that he's going to establish rapport with in a few minutes on offense. But on defense, I love what they had to say, because two guys I thought were very important in coming out and giving support. And I could even throw Calais Campbell in there, but I really want to focus on Grady Jarrett and AJ Terrell, because those are
Indeed.
really not just your veterans, but they're your veterans on this Falcon squad, right?
Right.
So a guy in Grady Jarrett who has seen several quarterbacks, including Matt Ryan, to be able to put his confidence in Desmond Ridder to say that he believes that he can get the job done as QB1. I think that's important, because also when you're going through OTAs, they don't get together too often, but every now and again, you'll see, the ones on the ones. And with what he's seen so far, he's impressed. So if he's looking at, from a defensive front perspective, and he's saying, wow, I think that he can do his reads perfectly. He's prepared for what it is that he's going to see. And even the looks that we're giving him, he's good to go. So I thought that was one area that was important for showing confidence in someone from the front. But also AJ Terrell. AJ Terrell knows what it looks like for quarterbacks to be throwing his way, or, just to be able to see things that are not right at the line of scrimmage, to say, yep, I'm waiting, I'm about to feast because that ball is coming this way and I'm going to pick it off. So for him to be able to talk about Desmond Ridder's vision as well, and for him to be able to talk about seeing the growth and having confidence in his QB1, that's a guy who's looking at QB1s all day, every day, trying to find the disconnect and the miscues that he can take advantage of. So if he sees something in Desmond Ridder as well, I will give that a thumbs up and a lot of confidence too, because we know that he's one of the best in the game. So if he's calling it, I can believe it. And I think that when you have potentially an extra target, we know he has Bijan Robinson, who of course is up at Falcons training camp with the rookies. They started yesterday. We know that's an extra weapon. Mm-hmm. But a little a little tweet yesterday gave us some confidence that maybe he's getting another one. So Kyle Pitts tweets out, no pup list for me. So what that spells to us is, are we seeing him day one? No pun intended, of course. But yeah, how important would that be? How exciting would it be? And how effective would that make the offense if Kyle Pitts can be out there on opening day?
I think you'll finally get a chance to see what Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot's vision was for this offense, because, like, hey, they drafted 3 pass catchers. I know Bijan Robinson is the running back, but, you know, he's going to be able to walk on water, catching the ball out of the backfield too, right? Yes. You know, that's what we've been told. You know, that's what I'm expecting. So when you have, you know, all of those consecutive pass catchers being drafted, like, that means you're looking to have a dynamic offense. That means you're looking to put up 25 to 30 points a game, you know, whether you're on the road or you're at home, because that running game travels, right? You know what I'm saying? And we talked about yesterday how, like, people talk about how it's a passing league. But once you get to the playoffs, all you hear is like, oh, yeah, teams got to be able to run the football. So, you know, I'm thinking that Arthur Smith saying, hey, how about this? I can do it when I can do this in September and October too as well. And it can be successful, and it can get me to where I need to be. So I think overall, like, with Kyle Pitts coming in, and if he's ready for game one, like he's intimating, I really feel like Desmond Ridder is going to be a lot more consistent than what he had to deal with Marcus Mariota last year, because we know, like, we don't have to go into what that connection was. It wasn't one. It wasn't one last year between Kyle Pitts and Marcus Mariota. So I think that Desmond Ridder, we know the relationship is able to establish with Drake London, and hopefully that can carry over to Kyle Pitts as well.
Yeah, I believe so, because I can remember times where we would be sitting in the press box and it's like, KP's open, get the ball to KP. And there were times where he was severely underthrown. There were times where he was overthrown. Maybe once or twice you might have said, okay, KP might have run the wrong route there. Right, but ultimately, it always seemed like Marcus Mariota just couldn't find a guy who was wide open, that he couldn't make the connection. And I felt like maybe Kyle Pitts got a little bit of undue vitriol, like, oh yeah, he was the number 4 pick, and look, he's looking like a bust. Well, now let's be honest. Who was throwing to him? He didn't get the 4 games with Desmond Ridder that Drake London and everybody else on that offense got, right? So even a Tyler Algier, he should be looking stronger as a pass catcher, because he got 4 games with Desmond Ridder. Cordero Patterson got 4 games with Desmond Ridder, and anybody else coming back in that whole offense got 4 games with Desmond Ridder. KP did not. So I want to see what a sample size looks like, hopefully in training camp. I hope we get to see something, or at least in preseason. It'd be great even if we could see something between those two in preseason. But I do think that, again, they'll be pleasant. Well, I don't know if they'll be pleasantly surprised. I know they're going to be surprised, all the naysayers who are really downing these 3 picks as pass catcher picks the last 3 drafts. But I think when these guys are working together as a unit, even if we don't see it fully in KP in game 1, maybe it's game 2 or 3, once the rust kind of wears off, if you will.
And I wouldn't be shocked if it is game 2 or game 3. That's fine.
Exactly. I wouldn't be either. And that's fine too, because ultimately speaking, as long as you can get ahead of it in the first quarter of the season, I think that bodes well for the Falcons, the backside of the season, when the schedule gets a little bit tougher. But everydayers, what do you guys think? Are you excited about Desmond Ridder coming into camp as QB1 so that the Falcons know exactly who they have and are confident in their guy? What about KP? He says he's not going to be on the pup list. You ready for KP to come back and make some noise? Let us know. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure that you drop something in the comments, and one of us might just check it out. Might just talk about it on the show. And of course, download ATL Day Ones wherever you get your podcasts.